My name is Autumn Brown. I will be your mistress of ceremonies tonight. I am recently retired from Brookhurst Junior High School. I was the drama teacher for 25 years. And in my retirement, I am rekindling my own acting career. I do directing and acting in community theater. I give improv workshops throughout the state of California. And one of my favorite projects every year is to come back to this Soapbox speech final. So I'm very excited to be here tonight. We have a great program ahead. To get us started, I would like to introduce our student ambassador from Cypress High School, Aaron Beck, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Aaron?
Please stand.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Aaron. This annual competition provides our students a voice to share their issues that are important to them. Under the guidance of our superintendent, Michael Metsuda, the Anaheim Union High School District is recognized as a leader in both statewide and nationally for the innovative work that we do for civic engagement. We have more designated California democracy schools in our district than any other district in the state of California. So to officially kick things off, please welcome our Assistant Superintendent, Jaron Freed.
Thank you, Autumn. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for being here. This is such an important event. I was telling one of our trustees, this is probably one of my favorite events of the year, just being able to watch our students. Before I say a few words about tonight's event, I do want to acknowledge some of the special guests that are with us today. First, I want to thank our judges who are taking the time to be here tonight. Mike Switzer, our English Language Arts Curriculum Specialist, Diana Fujimoto, our Coordinator of Professional Learning, and of course, Jessica Yett, our Curriculum Specialist over Science. So thank you for being here. I want to acknowledge our amazing board. We have two of our board members here with us tonight. We have our clerk, trustee Jessica Guerrero, and trustee Ron Hoshi. I know you heard Autumn reference our superintendent, but our superintendent is also here, so I want to reference Mr. Matsuda, who's in the back. So thank you for being here. And I also want to take a moment before we talk about our students just to acknowledge the amazing teachers who are here, who create the space and the opportunities for these performance task assessments to take place in their classrooms so students get these experiences. So I know we have a number of teachers here. Teachers, can you just raise your hand so we can see where you are? Thank you all so much. You do remarkable work, and we appreciate you allowing students to be able to find their voice and research the topics that they're interested in pursuing. I also want to take a moment to thank, I know we have a number of administrators here, our principals. Thank you for creating the space to support the teachers in doing this work. So thank you to our principals and APs. See you here. And students, so I am so proud of you and the work that you've done. I know you being here tonight, you are representing the very best of our students across the district. When you think about the construct of a soapbox speech or a TED Talk, for you all to take an issue or a topic that you care about, to do the research to go deeply more into that topic and then come up with a position on that topic and think about not only your points of view but also the counterpoints of view and why maybe your perspective is a little bit more compelling than the other. And then to be able to put that down in writing and then share with others your thinking and your thoughts. And then probably what's most important about our work as a district that is a civic engagement California Democratic School District is the call to action. How are you empowering others to do something to make your topic or your issue better? So students, I want to thank you. We talk about, it's not we're waiting for you to graduate to be productive citizens. We believe you can be productive citizens now, and that you have an opportunity to make the world a better place now. And so I want to thank you for your leadership and the work that you're doing to further the topic or issue that you are pursuing. And again, I can't thank you all enough for being here to support. I'm so grateful. It's not raining outside, so I hope tonight you have a great time and enjoy our students showcasing their talent. So thank you.
So what exactly is a soapbox speech? When someone said that they're on their soapbox, it means they're speaking passionately about something that's important to them. The term goes back to the days when soap was delivered in a wooden box, not in the plastic jugs we see today. And if someone had something on their mind that they thought was important, that they'd tell everybody about, they'd grab that wooden box, go out to the park or to the corner, and speak about the issues of the day. So tonight, we are going to hear about some of the important things that are on the minds of our students. I don't envy our judges trying to determine who is the most effective speaker tonight. Joining us tonight is an amazing panel of judges who have the challenging job of trying to determine a winner. Judges, please introduce yourself with your name, your role in the district, and maybe a sentence or two about a passion or something that's important to you. I will remind you, our speakers have 3 minutes to speak. You have 30 seconds.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Switzer. I'm the district's English Language Arts Curriculum Specialist. A topic issue that is near and dear to my heart right now is really the issue of culturally and linguistically responsive teaching, and really put our students at the center of all of their learning experiences.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diana Fujimoto, Coordinator Professional Learning. Being a daughter of immigrants, a societal issue important to me right now is immigrant rights.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Yett. I am the Science Curriculum Specialist. I think what's on my mind right now is probably continuing to promote climate justice and to not put that aside, but to recognize that it is an urgent issue, not only for us, but also globally.
Thank you, judges. Our judges are looking at 3 areas. First, content. Is the issue clearly explained? Second, delivery. Body language, facial expressions, gestures. And third, structure and style. Is the speech organized? Does it interest the audience and capture our attention? Does the speaker offer any solutions? Did you know that many years ago a study was done where they asked people, what are you afraid of? And people listed things like clowns, spiders, divorce, moving. The number one thing on that list in that study was speaking in front of an audience. The number 2 thing on that list was dying. People would rather die than get in front of an audience and speak, but you know that being able to communicate effectively is the key to success in life, showing confidence, leadership, and critical thinking. Our young people are to be applauded for coming up and overcoming that fear. This is our opportunity to hear the issues that are on the minds of our students. What you are about to see are the best student public speakers representing our high schools and our junior highs. Each of these students has crafted a speech regarding an issue that is important to them. We will start with junior high school, take a 10-minute intermission, and then hear from the high school students. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Please welcome our first speaker from South Junior High, Sabrina Ramos.
Imagine walking through the halls of South Junior High on a hot day. You just finished gym class and you're very thirsty. You rush to the nearest water fountain, not only to find a line of students waiting, or worse, it's not working. You get left feeling frustrated, sweaty, and thirsty. This is the reality that many students face every day, and it's a problem that we need to address. Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina Ramos, and today I wanted to talk about a simple but important issue that affects us all here at South Junior High, and it's the need for more water fountains. We all know how essential it is to stay hydrated throughout the school day, yet many of us struggle to find a water fountain with clean and cold water. Right now, our water fountains are not only few in numbers, but it's the water itself that often looks foggy and tastes off. This poor quality water is more than just a minor inconvenience. It can impact our health when the water isn't fresh or clean. Students may avoid drinking it altogether, leading to dehydration, which affects our energy and overall well-being. On many hot days, students are left with no choice but to visit the nurse's office just to get a clean and cold drink. This not only causes a loss on our nurses' time, but it also adds unnecessary pressure on our limited resources. The fact that so many students have to go to the nurse just for basic hydration is a clear indication that we need more reliable and clean water sources in our school. Increasing the number of water fountains around the school, especially those that can provide clean and cold water, would not eliminate wait times and frustration we face, but it would also guarantee that the water we drink is clear. Guarantee that we drink is better quality. Let's work together to make South Junior High a better place for everyone by adding more water fountains and ensuring that the water is clean and refreshing. We can guarantee that every student has access to the water they need to stay focused, organized, and healthy throughout the school day. Let's take action and ensure that we have access to clean and cold safe whenever we need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. A moment for the judges to compile their thoughts. Next up, representing Brookhurst Junior High, Jamie Portillo Jocko.
I'll never forget the moment I saw the red flashing lights of the ambulance rushing my friend to the hospital because of the excessive use of nicotine. And sadly, it wasn't the first. Do you really know all the long-term effects nicotine causes? Hi, my name is Jamie Portillo Jocko, and today I am going to be talking about addiction to nicotine. What is nicotine? Nicotine is a highly addictive, oily, colorless liquid found in tobacco plants. It is consumed through smoking, vaping, and other tobacco products. Why is this a major issue, you may ask? According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 8 million people worldwide die from tobacco use each year. This includes death due to nicotine use and other related products. An estimated 11.6%, 28.8 million, of adults in the United States reported using cigarettes. By smoking, you have a higher risk of cancer, lung disease, and type 2 diabetes. Smoking weakens your immune system, leaving your body defenseless against infections. Smoking damages the vocal cords, which can result in voice changes or the complete loss of your voice. Heart disease is common among smokers, as smoking damages the blood vessels. Heart disease can also lead to many other bad consequences. The most common method of nicotine consumption for youth ages 13 through 24 is through vaping. Vaping is the act of inhaling and exhaling an aerosol produced by an electronic device, typically called an e-cigarette or vape pen. Vaping products contain thousands of chemical ingredients, most of which aren't even identified. Vaping can happen anywhere: classrooms, hallways, locker rooms, and bathrooms. This is a major issue because nicotine exposure significantly impacts teens' still developing brains, affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control. This can lead to addiction and long-term cognitive issues. Studies have shown that students who use e-cigarettes tend to miss assignments and skip classes more often than those who don't. Not only does nicotine harm those who use it, but also affects the people around them. Since 1964, 2,500,000 non-smokers have died from health problems caused by secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke can harm anyone, especially children, by causing more frequent and severe asthma attacks, chronic ear infections, and an increased risk of lung cancer. Each year, 34,000 premature deaths in the United States are linked to secondhand smoke. The only way to avoid these devastating consequences is to stay away from nicotine entirely. We cannot afford to ignore the risks any longer. I implore our government to explore a complete nicotine product ban to prevent addiction and harm. Nicotine addiction destroys lives, but education and awareness can save them. If you have a family member who uses any of these products, please educate them about the dangers, because you never know. One day, they could become another statistic. Thank you.
Coming up next from Dale Junior High, Miranda Martinez.
Barcodes. I bet you're used to seeing them on a shirt at the store, or maybe attached to a lovely pair of pants. But let me ask you a question. What if your life had a price tag? What if you weren't seen as a person, but as a product to be used and disposed of? Her name is Hannah Blair, and she was unfortunately one of the victims of the 100,000 plus human traffickers in our nation. Her life took a massive turn in October of 2016, when little did she know the man she was about to meet would ruin her life. They would grow close, his promises of love and affection turning into cruel and nasty threats against her and her loved ones if she didn't engage in sexual activities with strangers, people she didn't know, all while he profited from it. It doesn't always start with a mysterious white van or a stranger tailing you at night. It is a studied fact that most trafficking victims are coerced by someone they trust and love. This can even include their own parents. Unfortunately, Hannah Blair's situation is not an isolated incident. It is a stark example of the destructing crime, which is human trafficking. But it doesn't necessarily just include sex trafficking. Human trafficking can also include forced labor acts, which make up 81% of total cases. And the fact that traffickers have adapted to technology does not help to the cause whatsoever. Industries like fast fashion contribute to this abuse, where employees are workers, producing your cheap and trendy clothes, like dogs chasing me on a stick. It is stated by the International Labor Organization that literal children make up 12% of the population of labor traffic victims. 13 million kids, just like me and you, denied the right to an education just to slave away in a factory all day, every day. But what can we do to bring justice to the hundreds of thousands of silence victims just like Hannah once was? One major step is to please inform yourself. Be a responsible consumer. Learn the signs of human trafficking. Use social media for the better and help spread awareness on as many platforms as possible. Remember that if you see something, say something. Let's remember to enjoy life, but to be responsible with our actions and choices. Let me leave you with this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. Our lives begin to end the day we stay silent about things that matter. I'm Miranda Martinez, and this is my call to action. Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. Representing Oxford Academy, please welcome Abigail Gangnath.
I love reading. Fiction, nonfiction, biographies, comic books, all types. I read over 60 books a year, and I'm lucky because I can access any book I want, but others are not so lucky. Book banning is harmful, and I'm here to tell you why. Hola, mi nombre es Abigail Gangnath, y hoy voy a exponer sobre la provisión de libros. According to the American Library Association, some examples of frequently challenged books are The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, George by Alex Gino, and Speak by Lori Halls Anderson. Why were they challenged? Critics give reasons like profanity, violence, promoting an anti-police message, conflicting with religious and political viewpoints, and not reflecting the values of our community. If you have ever read any of these books, you can see that some of these elements are often needed for storytelling purposes. A sad pattern is that most are challenged for having LGBT+ and BLM content. Earlier this year, a challenge was launched in AUHSD to ban the book Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe, detailing the author's journey from adolescence to adulthood and ultimately identifying as outside of the gendered binary. I and others spoke to the board promoting that our school libraries should reflect the diversity of its students. Luckily, board members voted 4-1 to keep the book in our district. By banning a book, you are taking away a person's right to learn and be informed, thus infringing upon his or her constitutional rights. In other words, by banning a book, a form of learning is banned. The First Amendment's constitutional right of free speech and intellectual freedom also applies to state and local governments. This means American citizens have freedom of speech, and this is a freedom, a right that cannot be taken away. A beautiful quote by author Jodi Picoult is, "There is nothing wrong with a parent deciding that a certain book is not right for her child. There is a colossal problem with a parent deciding that therefore no child should be allowed to read that book. It means authors should be able to write what they want and use any words they want, and readers should be able to read it." A few ways you can help in your community is by visiting your local libraries, going to bookstores, and supporting local authors. If a book is challenged near you, talk to your librarian and speak at school board meetings and city council meetings. For our Spanish-speaking communities, the American Library Association has resources for you all. Para nuestros hispanohablantes, la Asociación Americana de Bibliotecas tiene muchas cosas para todos ustedes. Books are people's mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. By banning a book, you are slamming the door. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Our next speaker is from Ball Junior High, and he will be giving us his thoughts in Spanish. Please welcome Isaac Alvarado Torres.
Haz un cambio que sí se puede. Tú y tú. Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Isa Alvarado. Estoy representando la escuela Val Junior High. Hoy le vengo a contar sobre mi historia de la vida. Yo pasé de un comportamiento mal en la escuela, en mi salón de inglés. No le quería hacer caso a la profesora y mientras ella explicaba su clase yo no le prestaba atención y interrumpía a los demás alumnos. Mientras ella explicaba su tarea, comía sin permiso de la profesora y tenía muchas quejas de la oficina hacia mis padres y llamados a mis padres, familiares. Tomé una decisión de hacer un cambio de vida sobre mi comportamiento. Yo pues hice de tantos llamados a mis representantes, tomé una decisión de cambiar mi comportamiento y directores, amigos, compañeros me ayudaron a cambiar mi comportamiento. Miss Delira, mis Flores, profesora y amigos me ayudaron a cambiar mi comportamiento. Hoy estoy aquí. Hoy quise estar aquí para que tomen consejos como para niños de mi edad, pasaban la misma situación que yo, de mi comportamiento y como que hoy estoy aquí para que hagan como un consejo para los demás niños de escuela secundaria o adolescencia, de Loara High School o Val Junior o Sycamore School, cualquier escuela del mundo, que le digo a todos los niños que no tomen la decisión de un mal comportamiento. No se lo recomiendo, yo pasé por eso, tantas llamadas hacia mis padres, a directores hacia mis padres, y no le quería hacer mucho caso a la profesora, prestar atención, y tomé una decisión yo mismo de mi vida para cambiar mi comportamiento de vida. Gracias por escuchar mi exposición. Gracias hoy por estar aquí, las personas, amigos y maestros, Miss Flores, Miss Delira y la directora y la señora que me ayudó, no me sé muy bien el nombre. Gracias por estar hoy aquí, muchas gracias a todos. Que tenga feliz noche.
Wow, thank you so much, Isaac. While the judges are deliberating, I will help to translate that. His speech was about how he got to that title, Make a Change. He wasn't doing well in school, his grades were not great, the behavior was unpredictable, and yet through the support and love of his family and friends and teachers, he was able to turn it all around. So thank you for sharing that with us, Isaac. We are now going to hear from Sycamore Junior High, Yasmin Perez.
School shootings kill 12 students a day, 12 families that will suffer the grief of losing a child, and 12 families that will never see a child again. And they leave another 32 injured or shot. 32 kids that will never see school the same, and 32 kids that will suffer the memory of their friends and classmates who died on the school carpet. Hello, my name is Yasmin Perez, and I'm going to talk about school shootings. On September 4th, 4 people died in a mass shooting at Appalachia High School in Georgia. The shooter was 14-year-old Cole Gray. Mason Schermerhorn, Christian Aldigo, Richard Aspinwall, and Christina Ermey died that day by a semi-automatic rifle that his father, Colton Gray, allegedly gave him access to. Christina Ermey was a math teacher at Appalachia High School, who her students said was very kind and welcomed students. Richard Aspinwall was a math teacher, a husband, and a father of 2 young girls. Christian Aldigo was a freshman at Appalachia High School, who was very sweet and caring. Mason Schermerhorn was also a freshman, who was very kind and well-liked. Imagine a world where school shootings didn't exist. This world would be safe for thousands of kids who attend public school all over the US. Kids wouldn't feel scared to go to school, parents wouldn't wonder if their kids are coming home, and teachers wouldn't worry about the safety of themselves and the kids. thousands of kids wouldn't die each year because of school shootings, and the world would be a better place. Thousands of families wouldn't suffer the grief of losing a child for sending them to school, the grief knowing that they will never see their child again for sending them to school, the grief knowing that they died in the one place where they're supposed to be safe, the one place where you'd expect to be safe, the place where they're receiving their education to accomplish dreams, dreams that were robbed away by the pull of a trigger at the speed of sound. Tools we have to work on this issue are mental health and support for the trauma of this event, and physical security measures, like school resource officers. And while these tools help, this unfortunate event continue to happen until we do something. This is why I need you to pressure lawmakers to make a change in gun laws. I need you to say something when you see something, like when you see a friend struggling, to let them know that you are there for them. By pressuring lawmakers to make a change in gun laws, and by knowing the signs, we can save thousands of children's fate. The signs can be like someone making direct threats of getting revenge or wishing all people would just die. And by knowing the signs and by pressuring lawmakers, we can make a change in thousands of kids' lives and families. Thank you.
You'll notice that our student ambassador is passing out a small trophy as the students leave the stage. This is a reward, their award for being their site winner. And then that's that. That's the end of that sentence. And now we hear from Walker Junior High, Aaliyah Conry.
I remember coming home that day, feeling light and carefree. Just gotten back from my dad's, happy enough to forget what home really was. But as soon as I stepped through that door, that feeling vanished. And the woman standing before me wasn't the loving, nurturing mom I once knew. She was a stranger, unrecognizable in her own pain. My name is Leah Conry, and this was my reality for years, and it remains the harsh truth for countless children still living it today. For these children, home isn't a place of safety, no, but a battlefield. The sound of a slammed door can trigger panic, and the fear of saying the wrong thing can feel suffocating. Even in moments of calm, we are waiting for the next explosion. And these wounds don't fade with time. They follow us into adulthood, shaping who we become and how we navigate the world. No child should have to carry this weight alone. According to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, nearly 10 million children witness domestic violence, with up to 60% also experiencing direct abuse. Many develop PTSD, showing trauma patterns similar to combat veterans. Yet, many children are often too afraid to speak out, not just because of fear, but because they don't know if they'll be the next victim. I know this fear too well. I tried to speak out once, but I was told it was a family matter and no one else's business. It took 5 times, 5 separate instances of violence before anyone realized I was living in a broken home. 5 times for the yelling, bruises, and fear were seen for what they really were. I remembered the vodka bottle hitting my stepdad's head, blood rushing down his face as glass shattered, not just against the ground, but against my heart. Each time I hoped someone would notice, a teacher, a neighbor, or a friend's parent would see my pain, but like so many children in similar situations, I had learned to hide it well. It wasn't until the signs became undeniable that action was finally taken. No child should have to be waiting for their pain to be recognized. As a community, I am severely disappointed that the cycle of abuse continues to this very day. Children hiding behind their pain while you sit there doing nothing. I've been with this my entire life, and today I finally found the courage to speak out. I don't want this to be overlooked once again. So if you suspect domestic violence, don't wait. Speak up. Support local shelters like Safe Horizon or the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and be a voice for those too afraid to use their own. Thank you.
We'll now hear from Orangeview Junior High, Gabriel Ramirez.
When you see a family, whether it's in your neighborhood, in public, or even on social media, what do you think? Do you picture a happy home life? Do you wonder how they treat one another behind closed doors? Well, as unfortunate as it is, in the 15 seconds it took me to ask those questions, 6 people have been domestically abused in the United States. My name is Gabriel Ramirez, and today I will be discussing the topic of domestic violence, both how it has affected many, many families worldwide and how it has affected my own over time. Now, relationships don't last forever. Some end in days, others in years. But the one thing that needs to be constant between every single one is that they are healthy and respectful. Unfortunately, some relationships aren't just unpleasant, they are downright abusive. Nobody should have to go through abuse of any kind, especially not in a romantic relationship. But regardless, many people continuously have to face the challenge of domestic violence. In fact, according to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have faced domestic abuse at one point in their lifetimes. Now, there's a combination of 2 different significant issues that culminate together to make domestic violence one big, horrid issue. The high prevalence rates I just brought up, combined with the fact that it leaves behind permanent scars on any survivors, leaves domestic violence to be ugly and wretched of an issue. It goes deeper, however, as the prevalence of domestic violence makes people afraid to stand up for themselves and afraid to go and get the support they need. And because of this, a man I hold very, very close to my heart is forever scarred, and there's a cousin out there that I'll never get the chance to meet. But how? How does one get out of the situation and live to tell the tale? Well, that question has no simple answer. Everyone constantly says, just break up, just break up, just break up. But no, it's not that simple and never was as simple as just breaking up. First, you need to understand. You need to conclude that the relationship is indeed unhealthy. And second, understand, it is not your fault and it was never, ever your fault. Third, you need to find help. You can either call 1-800-799-SAFE or text START to 88788 for support with domestic violence. Third, you need to find the right time to escape and leave your situation. And fourth, you need to seek shelter. Whether it's a family member's home or a domestic violence shelter, what matters is that you know you're safe in your location and that you feel comfortable. How you feel is what matters most of all. And finally, no matter what, cut every single tie with the other individual in the relationship, no matter what. Now, things may vary depending on the situation, but generally, this is the proper thing to do. I want you all to take a stand with me against domestic violence, not just by talking about the issue, but by actually doing something and attempting to help others get out of their situation. If you believe that a loved one is experiencing domestic violence, please inform them of the previously mentioned steps to either call 1-800-799-SAFE or to text START to 88788. My name is Gabriel Ramirez, and I thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Gabriel. Our final junior high school speaker is from Lexington. Please welcome Michelle Lee.
Imagine a blazing flame, a roaring fire, twisting and swirling with the fierce wind. You stand frozen, watching as your burning house is igniting to ashes. Sadly, this is the reality we are living in. Our lack of fire preparation is not due to lack of funding, but to unpardonable leadership. The LA fires, specifically Palisades, consumed 24,000 acres of land. The building we're currently standing in is merely 30. According to thehill.com, the average house in Pacific Palisades cost $3.5 million. For such a wealthy neighborhood, you would expect at least functional fire hydrants. Wrong. Not only were there malfunctioned fire hydrants, but completely empty reservoirs. It is our leaders' responsibility to protect the safety and welfare of the people, us, and yet our fire hydrants are empty? Instead of admitting their mistake, our leaders, for example, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, are blaming the victims, accusing them of not paying their fair tax. In contrast, the tax revenue annually for Pacific Palisades totals to $330 million. $330 million, yet they shift the blame to innocent victims. Innocent victims who had no involvement in running the city's fire hydrants dry. The mayor of LA, Karen Bass, says, if the fire department had more money, we would have been in a better position. Contrarily, she slashed $17.8 million from the California Fire Department. We, the people, sacrifice certain freedoms, pay taxes, and contribute resources in the expectation our leaders will provide us with safety and justice. In this case, safety and justice were sorely lacking. The best part of it all is the government pays no price for the turmoil they've inflicted on Californian families. An eyewitness, Martin Copenhafer, says, I look out and see embers, so we grabbed what we could get quickly, and in 5 minutes, just got out of there with the clothes on our backs. Now I have to start all over again, in a new life. This is the perfect example of California's lack of fire preparedness. This is the price we have to pay for our state's carelessness. Because in the eyes of our government, we are utter scapegoats. It's time we keep our government accountable, push for transparency in fire preparations, raise awareness through social media to pressure officials. We have to stand up for ourselves, for the innocent victims in the fire. I ask you to educate yourself, to speak up and stand out. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. May I remind you that for the past 45 minutes, you have been listening to 7th and 8th grade students. Amazing. We will take a 10-minute break and then come back and hear our high school speakers. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Now on to hear some more outstanding speakers. It's time to showcase our high school students, so let's get started. First up, from Gilbert High School, Linda Escobar.
Imagine entering a classroom where half of the students are having difficulty reading. According to the Board of Education, we see that 48.5% of the students are barely meeting the English language art requirements of reading. We see that 50% of our students are not able to read. So why is literacy so important? Literacy is important because it affects our daily life, from reading a menu at a restaurant to being able to read a medication prescribed by a doctor. Therefore, we see that students need basic reading skills. Basic reading skills come in handy whenever we need job opportunities, whenever we need to be able to make bigger financial decisions. If students don't have these basic reading skills, they're unable to make these decisions. And according to the Annie Casey 2001 Foundation, we see that they are 4 times more likely to fall into higher incarceration rates. Therefore, we can also see that students need our help because this is a California literacy crisis that we are in. With this, we also need to take in consideration about how they may feel. I once knew a 5th grade student that was reading at a 1st grade level. He was reading at a 1st grade level not because he didn't have the ability to learn, but because the system had failed him. Therefore, we need to be able to support our students. One of the things we can help our students with is making certain changes, small systemic changes. For example, being able to read to our students every day, and also asking for more funding at our school libraries and school education, like our curriculums, and asking for more asking for better help in our curriculums and having students have more opportunities with one-on-one tutoring. All this can help our crisis that we are dealing with, and therefore, okay. With helping out all our students in this crisis, we're investing in literacy. Investing in literacy is investing in a better future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And now, from Loera High School, Emmanuel Quintero.
At the end of last year, the Federal Reserve reported that 67.3% of the nation's wealth rested in the hands of the top 10% of America, while the top 0.1% owned 13.8% of the nation's money. Meanwhile, the bottom half of our country struggles to afford basic necessities. If this does not concern you, then hopefully the potential consequences of this problem will. If the wealth of the rich is left unchecked, there would be less than enough money to support the lives of the lower and middle classes. a shortage of money for these classes would result in poverty, leading to higher crime rates and a lack of education. Another possibility is the top 0.1% integrating themselves into our political system. For example, Elon Musk, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, holds political and economic power. According to the Washington Post, on January 31st of this year, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, appointed by President Donald Trump, granted a team of people close to Elon Musk access to the Bureau of the Fiscal Service. The Fiscal Service pays for nearly all federal payments and processes transactions such as Social Security payments, healthcare benefits, tax refunds, and many other things. This man has never been elected, appointed, or confirmed to any government position, nor has he ever been a federal employee. Due to this fact, I do not believe that this man should be trusted with any government documents, because immense wealth should not grant you the right to view such private information. However, he has proven us wrong and has demonstrated to the country how much of a threat the ultra-wealthy can be to our future and our democracy. To prevent more billionaires from buying their way into our country, I propose an annual, progressive, unrealized gains tax on stocks. This tax would target those whose net worth is over $10 million, and the money taxed would then be distributed to the bottom half of the nation to offset the income inequality. However, a plan without the means to set it into action yields no results and remains a dream. Only you, the people of this nation, can fight this inequality by voting for politicians who will represent us and fight for policies that benefit everyone, not just the wealthy. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. When are you running for office? Just let us know. The Oxford Academy speaker is not here, so we move on to Catella High School and Sadie Sandoval.
Good evening. My name is Sadie Sandoval, and I have only one question for you. What is identity? Is it your gender, your ethnicity, your sexuality, or is it your religion? The Oxford Dictionary definition of identity is the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. In other words, it's being who or what you are. In 2012, a study about identity maturity and moral identity was commenced by Sam A. Hardy and a group of other students from his college. Throughout this study, they surveyed 9,500 students from 31 different universities ranging between the ages of 18 to 25 years old. They surveyed each of these students about their own identity maturity. When receiving the results, they noticed that many of the students' identity maturity can predict one's emotional well-being, meaning that someone whose identity has grown can have an effect on their mental health. Identity is built on experiences, relationships, ancestral history, gender, religion, ethnicity, sexualities, interests, and so much more. One doesn't just change their identity grows and it evolves into something that paints a beautiful portrait. One issue I would like to identify is that many of us don't know how to construct our own identities. Society tells us to pick something, pick a career, pick a major, pick a passion, but then we're told that it's wrong. We're lost between a place where we feel half of ourselves and half of someone else. And my solution for this issue is for schools to apply more lessons that revolve around identity in English, world language, and VAPA classes. When applying identity to lessons in these classes, students can then authentically find their sense of self. Many of the students in the AUHSD, including me, have never really paid much attention to our own identities. If schools are supposed to be a place of education and a place of growth, then we should be able to explore into a deeper concept of our identities. If we're ever asked the question, what is your identity, we'd know how to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Number one fear, public speaking. These kids are getting up and doing it. It's amazing. We move now to Cypress High School and Harsha Raghavan.
Einstein said that time is relative. I see a 9-year-old in the audience looking at me like he has no clue what I'm talking about. But I'm sure everyone here can understand that our time here is limited. But for some reason, we spend so much of this precious time waiting for change. We wait all week for Friday, all summer for winter, all winter for summer, and all life for purpose. But change doesn't come from waiting. My attempt to spark change starts at everyone's favorite period of the day, lunchtime. Every single day, students dump their undesired lunches into the trash or into the share basket where it's given another opportunity for consumption. But even so, at the end of the day, these latter of these meals just ends up being thrown away. Food wasted, opportunity wasted, time wasted. In the US, 38% of the food supply goes uneaten or unsold every single year, leading to 87.8 million tons of food waste annually. These are the human consequences of our choices, choices that will dictate the future of the human species. Now, my plan to navigate this challenge is rooted in my senior civic action project, where I want to take this food waste and turn it into something that actually nourishes my campus. So over the past 5 months, I've been learning about food disposal systems and have been speaking with specialists in the field to learn how I can take this food waste, put it into composting bins that will then be utilized for the school's garden, and offer hands-on learning opportunities for students within the science curriculum to learn that responsibility isn't just an idea, it's action. I was watching a National Geographic video the other day, and the guy said that it would take 1 million years for the light of a star to reach the Earth. So I was thinking, by the time I see that light, the star probably isn't even there anymore. But somehow the light still shines. The choices we make today go so far beyond what we can even perceive. And I stand here telling you this because I know that environmental action without awareness is just wasted potential. Now, I'm no Einstein, but I will leave with this. Time wasting is time wasted. And I hope you're able to see that too. Thank you.
And now, from Magnolia High School, Lilikoi Blake.
God is good, and all the time. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lilikoi Patricia Tokanga Kihilatu Blake. Today, I stand before you to shed light on a crisis too many students endure in, mental health struggles. The crushing weight of anxiety, depression, and uncertainty that can even make waking up in the morning feel so unbearable. Imagine being a teenager trying to focus while your stomach aches with hunger. Imagine going home to chaos and instability. Imagine feeling invisible. This is the daily reality for countless students within our district. And yet, when students act out, when they disengage, when they make mistakes, they are met with punishment instead of compassion. They are suspended, expelled, and even written off as lost causes. But has anyone ever stopped to ask why? Why do students skip class? Why do they stop caring? And why do they feel like they have no way out? We don't need more punishments. We need real, accessible mental health support before it's too late. I know this struggle personally. I've made mistakes in the past, and instead of being given the chance to grow, I was defined by them. I was talked down to, and for so long, I felt like I was never good enough. Staying silent felt safer. The other day, someone asked me, "Why are you giving this speech if you're gonna graduate this year?" At first, I found that question really rude, but then I thought about it, I reflected on it some more, and now I have my answer. I'm giving this speech not for myself, but for the next generations, for my younger cousins, and for every student who will walk these halls after me. Because even if I won't be here to see the change, knowing that there is hope is enough for me. There is hope at Magnolia High School, though. We have SAFE, Sentinel Assistance Funding Essentials, a program run by staff members that provides students with necessities such as food, hygiene items, and financial aid, but most importantly, a sense of security. SAFE reminds students that they are not alone. For the last 2 years, I have felt so loved, supported, and uplifted by my village, by Magnolia staff, and by the people who refuse to give up on me. Loyola High School, here of course, recently created a wellness space, a safe haven where students can take a break, reset, and just breathe without the pressures of schoolwork and stress. If 2 schools can do this, why not all of them? Why do we keep treating mental health as an afterthought when it should be a priority? The statistics are devastating. The CDC reports that suicide is now the 2nd leading cause of death amongst teenagers. Half of all adolescents will experience a mental health disorder, yet most will never receive the help they need. Just as we wouldn't ignore a student with a broken arm, we shouldn't ignore a student with a broken heart or mind. The time for silence has passed, but the time for change is now. We must break the silence, demand better, and ensure that every student feels seen, heard, and valued. Thank you.